What is going on, boys? Just finished up a Vindasius talk right over there, right? But I got the juices flowing now, so I'm gonna keep going. I just talked about how you guys need to be consistently and constantly pushing the needle forward, right? Moving forward. This might be the most important video that you watch in your entire life. For those of you guys who do not know who I am, my name is Peyton Vindasius. I went from complete broke, university dropout, to a 7-figure window cleaning business at the age of 21 with my brother, going door to door. Built a sales team, 50-passenger van, all this crazy stuff. Went from the bottom all the way to the top. We now teach guys how to do the same. Now, one of the biggest things I see, especially with, getting on calls with guys who, they want to run up their business, they want to quit the 9-to-5, they don't want to be mediocre, average, like 99% of the people around them, their friend group, their family, whatever it is. The biggest thing that holds a lot of these guys back, unfortunately, is their parents. Okay, sure, it's their friends, the people in their circle, right, telling them, oh, it's too risky, stay in the 9-to-5 job, all that kind of stuff. I think the longer that life goes on at this point, right, it's 2026, I think the longer that things go on, the more people are waking up to this idea that university and college is a scam, it's complete bullshit, right? I could go on and on about that, but that is not the point of this video, right? The point of this video is to, a lot of the guys watching this right now, the biggest thing holding you back, it's not your mentality, it's not your motivation to start the business, it's not the amount of money you even have right away to invest in like coaching or the equipment you need to start your business. It's actually your parents, right? The goal of any single parent who has a kid, right, son or daughter, is to keep them safe, right? It's to keep them in this bubble of comfortability of making the best decisions that ultimately benefits them, and just keeping them away from danger, right? Keeping them away from making a bad decision that they regret, right? That is the goal of any parent, right? Overall. And here's the thing is, I know your parents love you, right? And a big reason why a lot of these guys do not succeed, right? They'll come up to me and I'll hop on these calls with these guys. Sometimes they're 15, 16, 17 years old, right? And they're like, hey, Peyton, like I want to run up my window cleaning company, right? I have, I want to put aside a couple $1,000s into my equipment, into my skill set, right? This is where I'm going to knock. They have the game plan, and we create this with them, right? And we get to the end of the call where they're like, hey man, like I just want to run it by my parents real quick. Yeah, totally cool, bro. Like talk to your parents about it, all good. And they'll go to their parents and they'll be like, hey man, hey mom and dad, I'm gonna put this amount of money aside towards my business. Here's Peyton, here's Quinn, here's their Instagrams, here's their YouTube channels, all this kind of stuff. And the parents will shut it down completely because they believe it's too risky. They believe it's a scam. They believe that what my brother and I are doing, or anything online, right, courses and mentorships and coaching and these programs online, it's all just a scam. It's all just complete bullshit, right? It's, go to university, get a degree, right? All this, matrix bullshit. And what's really sad is seeing someone, or like, a kid with so much potential, right? At the age of 14, my brother was going around our hometown from Canada, Ontario, and he was going around knocking doors, selling window cleaning. He had the e-bike and the wagon and all that kind of stuff. Now at this point, our parents were still forcing us to go to university, right? That changed pretty quick after my first year, after my first couple months, during the first semester even. But he was one of those kids where he was going to do everything in his power to make as much money as humanly possible. He was not made to work the 9-to-5 to be like the normal average kid nowadays, right? And the toughest part about what my brother and I do is seeing some of these kids with so much potential to go out there and make thousands of dollars at the age of 15, 16, 17, running their home service business, learning a skill set, scaling it, hiring their buddies to help clean the jobs, right, getting the equipment. What's so sad is seeing someone with so much potential at such a young age, and the only limiting factor is their parents, right? Their parents come in the way of thinking it's a scam, thinking that working with my brother and I is, it is completely like, it's just bullshit, it's a scam, right? It's not gonna work out, it's too risky, all this crazy shit. If you're a parent and your kid comes to you, it's like, hey mom and dad, this is my game plan, top to bottom, here's my business, here's what I wanna do, here's how I'm gonna do it, right? This is how I'm gonna come up with the money, all this kind of stuff. And you shut it down because your fixed mindset is keeping you from becoming the best version of yourself, and you hold that back from your kid, right? What does that make you as a parent, right? And I see this over and over and over again, is these kids with so much potential, man. Like so much potential to go out there, to talk to strangers, learn a skill set, right? I see, my younger self and even the younger version of my brother and a lot of these guys that we talk to on these calls, and the biggest thing that holds them back is their parents, bro, right? Their parents thinking it's too risky. Their parents thinking that it's a scam, right? Their parents thinking that it's, it's safer to go to university to get a 9-to-5 job, save up for uni or college, right? Get a degree, right? If you are a parent and you think that in 2026, you're retarded. Like, you are so stupid. Open your mind, right, to the world, right? You can go outside, leave your home. 15, 16, 17-year-olds have the ability to leave their house, go door to door, talk to strangers, and make thousands of dollars in a day. To make more money in a single day than their parents are making in a single day after years of working, years of going to university or college or getting a degree, getting into debt, right? These long decades of working a 9-to-5 job, right? And your kid has the ability to go out there and make $250, right? Sell it in 5 minutes and clean the job in an hour, right? There's a reason you're gonna think it's a scam. It's because you've been lied to, right? You still believe that the traditional way of going to university, getting a degree, getting into debt, buying a house, bro. Try to buy a house nowadays. It's like 700, 800K, right? Depending on the size of the house. But most average houses nowadays, if you live in Canada or the States, well over 500, right? Well over. How can you afford that as a kid, as someone coming out of university with a degree? Even if you're making like $50 an hour, you cannot afford it. There's another path. I need you to understand that you will be the biggest limiting factor to why your kid does not succeed, why your kid does not reach his full potential, right? Why he does not acquire the skill set, why he goes to work the 9-to-5 job, while he settles for mediocrity. He understands that it's okay to quit. It's okay to not go all in on your dreams or your aspirations, your goals, right? Oh, I'm just gonna continue listening to my parents because this is what they say. Sure, it's good to have a kid that listens to you as a parent, but if you know that they were made for more, right? You see the fire in them. You see things in your kid that is not in every other kid, right? These 15, 16, 17-year-olds have the ability to make thousands of dollars every single day. And if the reason they are not doing that, if the reason they are not going out there and crushing it is because of you as a parent, I'm sorry, you failed as a parent because you are holding your kid back from becoming the best versions of themselves, right? They have the game plan, right? Maybe they don't have a lot of money to start out. That's fine. It's not about the money to start. It's about you either support them along this journey of them going out there, starting their business, scaling it, knocking doors, selling window cleaning, whatever it is, getting the coaching, the mentorship, the skill set they need to scale. You either support them along this journey or you hold them back, like 99% of parents do nowadays, because it's too risky. It's a scam, right? It's not a good idea to start your business. Oh, look what happened over here. This person failed. Everyone's failed, right? That's a part of the journey. I'm 21 years old. I have 7 different mentors for 7 different things, right? And every time I've invested in a mentor, it's not only brought me a lot further towards the person I'm trying to be, but there's always been a lesson. Even if it was a good investment or a bad investment, it was always a lesson that I learned along this journey. Understand that there is a lot of kids who smoke weed, who vape, right? Who do drugs, right? Who hang out around the wrong crowd of people, who go work the 9-to-5. There's a lot of kids who are in a really bad situation, right? And that's from their parents and their environment, how they were brought up, sure, right? Understand that if your kid comes to you and he wants to start the business, he wants to go all in on some mentorship or some coaching, or he wants to invest a certain amount of money into his equipment, and he gives you the game plan, right? Understand that that is the best thing that you can see. That is the best thing that you can get from your kid, because they don't want to go down the normal route that most people want to go down. They don't want to do the drugs, the alcohol, or like any of that bullshit. They're trying to become the best version of themselves at such a young age, right? If you help them along this journey, right, they will get there that much quicker. Now you can either support them, right, or you can be the reason that they don't succeed, and you will be the biggest reason to why they are held back from reaching their full potential.